this particular section, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he speaks that when we are cultivating Bhakti Lata Bees, it is very important to know about Bhakti, and also it is very important to know what is not Bhakti. And that is the reason we see Srila Rupa Goswami, he worked for almost 13 years to write this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu to help us understand what is Bhakti, what is not Bhakti. And especially this Bhakti Anartha is most subtle among all four. Sukritutta, Duskritutta, Apradutta, to one extent is more easy to understand. But Bhakti Anartha is very difficult. Like suppose somebody becomes very senior. So it is natural people will give him respect. And it is natural he will feel, that they are feeling respectful towards me. But if he starts feeling that, see, I am very special, see, I delivered so many, I know so much, no one can guide me the way I guide. The moment these thoughts they come, so actually he is nourishing his weeds. But it is very subtle to identify and know. One may feel that I am doing service only, it is good only. At the same time, he may not be actually cultivating his Bhakti Lata. It's very subtle. Somebody singing in front of the Lord, and he is very nicely trying his best to sing nicely. But then he gets the thought that, there is no one like me, I sing so nicely, and he practices a lot. Now, bhakti means doing for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Now he's practicing a lot. He's drinking hot water, making his throat very clear, and so many things he's doing. But now desire is, I want to impress people. I will sing in such a way that, taliyan bajjayen. It's just very subtle, doing same activity. Everything is same. Only the attitude changes. And then instead of watering the Bhakti Lata, he's watering his weeds. He's trying to become famous. There are devotees, actually the Bhakti Lata, Bhakti Uttanartha and Apradutta Nartha, they are more for those who have taken up devotional service little more seriously as compared to Sukritutta and Duskritutta Nartha. Duskritutta Nartha are for Prakarta Bhakta who are just beginners and still are infatuated with sinful activity. Sukritutta Anartha is for mixed devotees like demigods and all, they come under, where they get very much affected by the opulence which comes by their piety. And they feel, this much is enough. Why to be more serious in bhakti? I got a good house, I got a good job, I got a good wife, I got good children. So because of their piety, that piety becomes an obstacle in their spiritual progress, because the piety makes them complacent. Piety does not help them to understand about the Dukhalyam Satsvatam aspect of this nature. And then Aparaduttanartha is when person starts staying in association of devotees. That's how when Aparaduttanartha starts. Before entering in the association of devotees, from outside you will find a beginner has so much respect for devotees. From distance only he feels, Babre, they are so special. And if he sees somebody as a saffron, then he feels, Babre, they have descended from some other planet. But when he starts staying in association and when he starts closely seeing the devotee, so when he is introduced to the human aspect of those devotees, so then, or when he also get to see the shortcomings or their different natures, then the Aparaduttanartha starts. And then Bhakti Uttanartha is for more serious devotees who are actually making good progress or who are being empowered by the Supreme Lord, and they are getting certain things by the Supreme Lord, which in one way Lord provides along with Bhakti Lata, so that we can engage them in the service of the Lord. But unfortunately, one is not very careful and not distinguishing between Bhakti Lata and other plants. Then he mistakes weeds as Bhakti Lata, and instead of watering Bhakti Lata, now he starts watering the weeds and loses the whole purpose for what he started practicing Bhakti Yoga. So this is most subtle, and this happens for those who are more seriously practicing spiritual life. Bhakti Uttanartha will not happen for beginners in Krishna consciousness. It will happen after certain years when you have grown up in your devotion service, and then you start getting all this. People start worshipping. Practically, people they do arti to sometimes the devotees. They do so much glorification. They do so much. They give so much respect, and especially those who become sannyasis and all. They actually wash the feet by the water. Can you imagine? So much respect. So if one is not very careful, then he may start thinking that I am very special. And sometimes, somebody may be empowered to give classes. And then audience are also very much appreciating him. Prabhu, your classes were so nice, and you are so much helping us in our devotion service. And then he starts identifying that, see, I give such nice classes. And now he's preparing classes with not the intention that I can do some good service and I can please the Supreme Lord. But now he's preparing classes thinking that अभी मैं ऐसा impress करूंगा सबको, सब ताली बजाएंगे. मेरे जैसा क्लास कोई नहीं देता है. उसका प्रॉपर यूट्यूब रिकॉर्ड करके व्यूज तो हैं पूरे दुनिया में, उसके मल्टीपल व्यूज आ जाएंगे. So just before he was giving classes, now also he is giving classes. But now he got affected by the Bhakti Anartha. So it is most subtle. Sometimes very genuine devotees also get trapped in this. So one has to be extremely careful that bhakti is different. Bhakti means pleasure for the Supreme Lord. That is most important aspect. The moment this goes and the moment I becomes the center, that is not bhakti. Although it may look like bhakti, but it is not bhakti. The moment I becomes the center, it is Krishna and it is always Krishna. And Krishna is the center. He is the object of our pleasure. He is the object of our service. Then that is bhakti. And whatever comes along with practicing this bhakti has to be seen with lot of humility, with lot of gratitude, and with lot of carefulness. That with lot of humility that I don't deserve. It is Krishna's mercy that he provided all this. We see in case of Srila Prabhupada, he would express this humility that I had nothing. And then he would express his gratitude that Krishna sent all of you. I see all of you as being sent by my spiritual master. And then with lot of carefulness, we should engage all the resources which we are getting in the service of the Lord for his pleasure, for his glorification. But the moment we think it is for me and I, then that becomes a trap. And unfortunately, such devotees outwardly may continue to be seen as devotees because they do everything. They are singing, they are giving classes, they are wearing dhoti kurta, they are putting tilak, they are inspiring others, they are guiding. So outwardly, you can't make a difference, and we should not make a difference. It is up to individual to introspect himself. So outwardly, others cannot make a difference. And if I as an individual is not very careful, then I also cannot make a difference. So it becomes very dangerous. For years together, we can be a so bottled devotee, and then we die without any love for the Lord. And then we are shocked, the whole life I wasted because I pursued and got distracted by watering the weeds. That is why it is mentioned, no matter how advanced we become, we should always be under some other devotee, some senior devotee. Because then he can judge, he can understand. We have to give ropes of our life to some senior Vaishnava who can see us and who can correct us. We have to give that authority to that Vaishnava who can understand that, there is some problem, there is some concern. We see in case of Prabhupada that how once Tamal Krishna Maharaj got this thought that there is no one like me, I'm the best, one of the best, everything I do so perfectly, so much success I got. And he started Radha Damodar bus party. Can you imagine within few years he got 12 buses and all buses full of brahmacharis going to different places. In fact, he made an idea that we will purchase one big ship, cargo ship, and we will have these 12 buses boarded on the cargo ship. And then from through the ocean, we will go to one particular country. And then from the ship, these 12 buses will come out and then they'll go to the various parts in the particular country. And then after doing Harinam and distributing books, then they will again come back on the ship, and then they will go to another country. So like that, he made such a huge global plan also. It was extremely successful. But then when he got this thought that I'm better and there is no one like me, the way I do, the way I think, these are conditioned thoughts which each one of us get, unfortunately. So Prabhupada could see that. And then we know that famous pastime Prabhupada said that from Mahavishnu, unlimited universes are coming out. In one universe, there are so many planets. In one planet, so many countries. In one country, so many cities. In one city, so many streets. And on one this particular street, so many houses. And on that street, there is one house. In that also, so many rooms. And then so many devotees. But one of them, Kamal Krishna, thinks I am great. So this is how actually the senior Vaishnavas, they pin down our false ego. This is how they help us to understand that, what you are doing is different. Once a Gaurang Guru came to Pune and he gave a Bhagavad Sapta, and it was very much appreciated. Because Gaurang Guru has a nature to crack jokes in between, and people, they like all the, especially the new audience. So they would clap, and it was successful. And then many letters came to Gaurang Guru that we are ready to sponsor whole your Bhagavad Sapta. Please come at our place and here you do Bhagavad Sapta. So Gaurang Guru became quite happy that I am so famous and so much people are appreciating my katha. So in order to impress Maharaj, he forwarded all those letters to Maharaj in order to show to Maharaj, his own Maharaj, that see Maharaj, your disciple is not left. He forwarded all the letters and he asked Maharaj, see, so many invitations I am getting. So I wanted your blessing. So Maharaj just wrote one line. He said, when my disciple gets respect and such kind of importance, then I become deeply concerned. And that only one line he replied. Then Gaurang Guru could not understand. Then when he spoke, then Maharaj said that it is not good to get so much appreciation at this stage. And then he cancelled the Bhagavad Sapta. But conditioned nature is sometimes, when the superiors are trying to cut down like this, conditioned nature is sometimes they feel, oh, superior is envious of my success. Maybe he's afraid I'll become more successful than him. See how dirty thoughts sometimes the conditioned mind can have. And he can't understand that I am getting affected by Bhakti Anartha. And superiors are seeing it and they are cutting it down. They are helping me to understand and cut it down. But then if one is not submissive, one is not humble, one is not putting his superior above his intelligence and mind, then naturally it is very difficult to protect such devotee. And they may remain so total devotee thinking that, see, I can bring money, I can do this, I can do that. Naturally I am a devotee, otherwise how can so many things I am able to do? So they remain in that illusion of being a devotee. So this is very subtle anartha, this Bhakti anartha. Great devotees become trapped in this, and without their knowledge, they grow these weeds instead of Bhakti Lata. And only solution to this is that one has to be submissive and one has to be under some Vaishnavas who are actually his genuine well-wisher, who can actually guide him properly and who will guide him so that he does not get affected by this. So here we see Mahaprabhu is saying this. एक जल पाया उप शाखा बढ़ी आया स्तब्ध हया मूल शाखा बढ़ी ते न पायन. So when one is affected, so he is not able to distinguish. And then what is happening is, water instead of going to the main Bhakti Lata plant is going to the creepers. And creepers are growing like anything. And the Bhakti Lata in the between is not growing because he is not getting nourishment. Now you see, what is water? Before it was told in this analogy, water is referring to what? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is referring water to what? Anyone?
Shravanam.
And
Shravanam and Kirtanam.
now can you imagine? Taranam and Kirtana, instead of nourishing the Bhakti Lata, is nourishing the weed. How is that possible? Taranam and Kirtanam are most pious activities. They are, the limbs of devotion service. They come under Navida Bhakti. But can you imagine that instead of nourishing the Bhakti Lata, same Saranam and Kirtanam, now they are nourishing the weeds. That means when one is doing Saranam or one is doing Kirtanam, that also is for the purpose of growing the weed. Can anyone say that how Saranam and Kirtanam can be growing weed? How to understand it?
He may feel if he is doing lot of kirtans, and he may feel I am doing good kirtaniya, I sing nicely.
Yes, good. Yes, Pavan too.
Basically, it is because of the change of desire, because Shravanam has the power to intensify anything. So, same Shravanam which he was doing to purify himself. But now, if the attitude has a change, the same Shravanam is nourishing other things that he is hearing so that he can impress others. And he is
Yeah,
speaking so that he can impress others.
right.
And that
So
gives him
how
more power.
right? So how practically it happens is when like during Sarvanam, one is hearing and he is making notes not with the idea of application. The moment Sarvanam, the core aspect of Sarvanam is it should lead to application. But instead of that application, his idea of Sarvanam becomes, I will make notes and I will repeat it, which is in one way not bad, but it should be after the idea of application. So he does Sarvanam not for himself. He does Sarvanam so that he can speak to others. And that's why you'll find there are devotees, they will, the moment they hear something new, then they will write in the diary. And their mind is running, इसको मैं जरूर बोलूंगा अभी क्लास में जाकर. तो गलत नहीं है, preaching के लिए वो सही है. Saranam should lead to Kirtanam, but before that Saranam should lead to application. अगर application वाला aspect वो miss out कर रहा है और सिर्फ कीर्तन वाला रिपीटिंग वाला एस्पेक्ट वो रिमेम्बर कर रहा है, तो यानी कि वो भक्ति लता को वाटर नहीं कर रहा है ऐसा. वन ऑफ द रीजन you will find during Prabhupada time, do you see during Prabhupada time any video where he is giving Bhagavatam class and somebody is making notes? Anyone has seen any video where you saw anyone making notes in Prabhupada's Bhagavatam class? Any video lecture which you saw? You will not find. Prabhupada allowed only Jayadeva Swami Maharaj to make notes. Prabhupada said, you make notes. And this I heard from one Prabhupada disciple only, that for others he said, just here, like that. But obviously we are educated devotees. So in our case, making notes helps us to be more attentive in hearing. So that's why in our training we encourage that make notes. But it's not lead us to go away from the application. First aspect of hearing is application. First aspect is that it is for me. And then because you feel very happy by applying it, that's why you share with others. So there is a difference. One is you are hearing just because you want to share with others, because it is a nice point, first time you heard, and if you repeat now, then people will feel Prabhuji ने क्या अच्छा point बताया है, ये तो किसी ने बताया ही नहीं. और कई बार इन devotees का एक और आदत क्या हो जाता है, they don't say also that from where they heard this point. They will speak as if they are the kind of creator of that content. They will not share that from where they heard also, like that. And they forget that aspect that it is for application. So actually how Saranam should be that we hear, be inspired to apply it, and we feel happy by application, and that's why we want to share with others. This is how Saranam should go on. That, oh, I heard this and I applied, it was so nice, I tried this. And the philosophy which you hear, and then you think how you feel connected to that philosophy. And then you share that, it is so nice, Bhagavatam is so nicely saying. that how people of this world are suffering, how these four real problems are the real problems, and people are not thinking how life is temporary. First, you should feel, and then you share with others. Or first, you should apply, and then feeling happy with that application, then you share with others. That is Shravanam. Otherwise, Shravanam can become a informative kind of exercise where you collect information and then you speak to others so that you are recognized as a good devotee, you are recognized as a a nice devotee, like that. So that is not bad if first part is done. But if first part is not done, then that may lead to other aspect, like that. Sometimes that's why devotees, they get this habit of hearing from different great scholarly devotees, not for the purpose of application, not for the purpose of understanding themselves, but for so that I can repeat it very nicely. And they have habit, प्रभु जी हम ये प्रभु जी जो हैं इन्होंने तत्व संदर्भ पे सेमिनार दिया, ये हम सुनना चाह रहे हैं। प्रभु जी ये भक्त हैं, इन्होंने इसके ऊपर वो सेमिनार दिया, वो हम सुनना चाह रहे हैं। उन भक्त से पूछो कि प्रभु सुनना तो ठीक है, आप उसमें से क्या अप्लाई करोगे वो आप हमको बताना। फिर वो चुप हो जाएंगे। बस सुनना है, लेकिन एप्लीकेशन कहाँ है? जो प्रभुपाद जी ने एनवाई दिया है उसी का ही अप्लाई कर लो, पहला ही वर्ष अप्लाई कर लो, उसी में जीवन खत्म हो जाएगा। करेक्ट। लेकिन इनका थॉट क्या है? एप्लीकेशन से ज्यादा गैदरिंग इंफॉर्मेशन टू इम्प्रेस अदर, दैट बिकम लाइक दैट. So one has to be extremely careful that I can't compromise Bhakti Lata just because of the weeds. And actually it is very subtle, but then whole time will go and then we become old, then we die, and when we are old die, then we remember that I am not able to remember Krishna. Then we see that still my heart is having these anarthas. And we at time of death also we will see कौन कौन आया है, अरे मैं तो बहुत फेमस हूँ, 4 ही लोग आए मृत्यु के समय। उस टाइम पे भी यही विचार रहेगा, अरे यूट्यूब पे वीडियो डाल दो, प्रभु जाने वाले हैं, कुछ लोग और आएंगे, कुछ को फोन करके बुलाओ, नालायको ग्रेटिट्यूड नहीं है, प्रभु मरने वाले हैं, आ जाओ। उस टाइम पे भी वो कृष्ण के बारे में नहीं सोच पाएगा, उस टाइम पे भी उसको जो है जो ये एक्सटर्नल चीजें हैं उसके बारे में सोच पाता है। और एक्चुअली ये भक्ति का प्रोसेस और इन जनरल इतना अमेजिंग है हर चीज। अगर आप मटेरियल चीज चाहते हो उतना ही फ्रस्ट्रेटेड रहोगे, मटेरियल चीज मिलेगी नहीं। अगर आपका एक्सटर्नल फोकस है, फ्रस्ट्रेटेड रहोगे, हार्ट एम्प्टी रहेगा और एक्सटर्नल चीज आपको दुख पहुंचाएगी और जैसा चाहिए वैसा मिलेगी नहीं। लेकिन अगर आप डिटैच हो, फिर भगवान की प्रसन्नता के लिए कार्य कर रहे हो, आपके हार्ट में फुलफिलमेंट रहेगा और आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशन से ज्यादा जो है आपको एक्सटर्नल चीज भी मिलेगी। तो दोनों अपोजिट होता है। जब आप चाहते हो तो नहीं मिलेगा, जब आप नहीं चाहते हो तो आपकी इच्छा से ज्यादा मिलेगा, प्रोवाइडेड वी सरेंडर टू द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड। इसलिए वी डोंट हैव टू फूल अवरसेल्फ एंड अदर। अगर हम जेन्युइन डिवोटी बनने का प्रयास करेंगे, वो सबसे बड़ी सेवा है। कृष्ण भगवान के प्रसन्न करने का सबसे बड़ा तरीका है टू बिकम अ जेन्युइन डिवोटी। डोंट गेट कैरिड अवे बाय द सुपरफिशियलिटी ऑफ दिस वर्ल्ड, डोंट गेट कैरिड अवे बाय एक्सटर्नल्स ऑफ दिस वर्ल्ड। बहुत सारे लोग बहुत सारी चीजों को गुणगान करेंगे, बहुत सारे लोग आपको 4-5 दिन के लिए आसमान पे चढ़ा देंगे और 2 दिन के बाद आसमान से फेंक देंगे। ये सब दुनिया में ट्रैप नहीं होना है हमको। We may get success, we may not get success, that is not our motive. Our motive is we want to become genuine devotee who actually is working hard to improve his heart, to purify his heart, who is genuinely working hard to apply the philosophy which he has received. He is genuinely working hard to please the Supreme Lord, to become a genuine Vaishnava. और आप देखेंगे अगर हमारा ऐसा थॉट प्रोसेस रहता है और हम इस प्रकार से एक जेन्युइन डिवोटी बनना चाहते हैं, तो भगवान आपको सब कुछ देंगे, आपको सब कुछ मिलेगा। और आपको मोर देन दैट you will get fulfillment in your heart. More than that, you will get purification of heart. More than that, you will be able to actually kindle and cultivate love for the Lord, which is our main goal. लेकिन अगर दूसरी की तरफ भागेंगे तो ये तो पक्का मिलेगा ही नहीं, और दूसरा वाला भी आपको दुख ही देगा, और जो है जितना चाहिए उतना मिलेगा नहीं, उसके लिए आपको स्ट्रगल करते रहना पड़ेगा। ये जो वर्क है अत्याहार प्राश्चित्य प्रजल्पो नियमग्रह, तो ये वर्ष सिर्फ भक्ति आलोक में श्रील भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर ही सेज दिस वर्ष can be applicable to householders. He's talking about devotees. This NOI is not for non-devotees. Act of Instruction is a book which is for devotees. So he's saying it can apply for grastas. So we may say, okay, for grastas, so it is understood that they may get carried away by the fruitive activity and they may work very hard. And then he says it can apply for the renunciate also. This Atyahar Prashitya. So Prashitya, how it can apply to a renunciate? He may work very hard for external things in bhakti. कई भक्त लोग हैं वो हारमोनियम सीखने के लिए रात को 11-11 बजे तक प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, नीड नहीं है। कई लोग हैं कुछ स्किल डेवलप करने के लिए बहुत मेहनत करते हैं, उतना नीड नहीं, उतना प्रयास का जरूरत नहीं है। क्योंकि पहला चीज क्या है कि हम भगवान को प्रसन्न करें, हम भगवान की प्रसन्नता के लिए भक्ति करें, अपना हार्ट प्योरीफाई करें। उसके लिए हमको रेगुलेटेड डिवोशन सर्विस करना है, पहले अपना पक्का मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम करना है। कई ऐसे डिवोटीज हैं कुछ टेम्पल्स में वो मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम के टाइम पे हारमोनियम प्रैक्टिस करते हैं। Instead of chanting with devotees in the morning, and they are going out and practicing harmonium for whom? For whose pleasure? And what they want to get out of it. And we see such devotees, their harmonium only takes them away from Krishna consciousness also. So you have to be very careful. That first aspect is becoming a genuine devotee. In one place, Prabhupada says, we have no business in impressing people of this world. We want to please the Supreme Lord. So time and again, actually, you have to reflect back that what I am doing, will it please the Supreme Lord? And nothing external will please him. Only the sincere devotional service will please him. Nothing external it will please. In there is one verse in Prahlad Maharaj section, which you were reading. There he also says, nothing external pleases him. Just that time. See, this is very beautiful work to think about, to understand that actually nothing external pleases the Supreme Lord, even on the name of devotion service. So he's saying you cannot please the Supreme Lord by becoming perfect Brahmana. You cannot please Supreme Lord just because you get up early daily, just because you are very clean, just because you are very sattvic, just because you eat very sattvic food. These things cannot please. That's why we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling to the milk drinking brahmachari, do you think just drinking milk will please me? Just by drinking milk you can capture me? No. So even this does not please. Then he's saying, by becoming demigod or great saints also, or by becoming perfectly good in etiquette or vast learning, this also cannot please. You may become Brahma, Chandra, Vayu, Indra. That does not please the Supreme Lord. You may become great saint having thousands of followers. You may become very pakka in following the etiquette. You may be very learned. None of these qualifications can awaken the pleasure of the Lord. Then nor by charity. You may give a lot of charity. Not by austerity, not by sacrifice, not by cleanness or vows can one satisfy the Lord. Then this is the essence. Lord is pleased if one has unflinching, unalloyed devotion to him. And then he says, without sincere devotion service, everything is simply a show, even on the name of being a devotee. We have to know that what Krishna is looking for. He is looking for sincere, unflinching, unalloyed devotion without any expectation, where we want to please the Supreme Lord. And I don't want anything in return. Actually, the moment we expect something, then that is not sincere devotion service. Without any expectation, doing something for pleasure of the Supreme Lord, that is devotion service. Obviously, at our level, it is not easy. You see, whenever we do some service, then some expectation comes that, I should be appreciated, I should be recognized. and I am doing this service, people should understand. So we have these contaminations, but we have to know that they are not good contaminations, and we have to slowly get rid of all this, knowing that I am not doing devotional service for all this. I just want to please the Supreme Lord. So at our level, these contaminations will come, but we have to get rid of them, and we have to know that they are not good. Lord will be pleased only by the sincere devotional service. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Dukhi was simply assisting in bringing water. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw from a distance and asked, "Who is she?" And then devotees introduced that she is Dukhi, and Mahaprabhu says, "No, she is engaged in such sincere devotional service, she can't be Dukhi. You have to change her name to be Sukhi." Actually, Krishna will see when no one is seeing us, provided if we are performing sincere devotional service. Why Lord Ram, changed his way to go deep into the forest in Kichkinda to meet Sabri because of her sincere devotional service. She was not looking for name, fame, glory. She was not looking for anything else. She had no expectation. She was ready to wait life after life. And that is the reason that Lord Ram went and gave darshan to Sabri. When we have this attitude that I am ready to render sincere devotional service without any expectations, life after life, the way Krishna wants, only for his pleasure, that is the time Krishna starts looking at us. That is the time we start giving pleasure to the Supreme Lord. The moment we have expectation, मैंने इतना कुछ किया है, अभी मुझे ये मिलना चाहिए. Yamuna Mataji says in ISKCON there is a problem of this expectation of entitlement. Entitlement means that I am so and so, I deserve this much and this much. And because of which what happens, their heart is not able to cultivate pure devotional service. They have such expectation, I should be respected in certain way, I should be, recognized in certain way, I should be appreciated in certain way. And they all will be there at our level naturally. But what we are discussing is, those who are sincere, they will see them as anarthas and they will try to purify themselves. But those who are not sincere, they will not see them as their anarthas. They will see, I need all this, I deserve all this. And then they are not cultivating pure devotional service. They are getting affected by the anarthas, and then they are getting affected by the bhakti anarthas, like that. We have to be very careful that in a conditioned stage, these anarthas of various types, they actually don't allow us to even aspire for pure devotion service. They keep hammering over that aspiration for pure devotion service also. But again and again by hearing, although we have anarthas, although we have conditioned nature, but again by hearing and hearing, we keep aspiring for pure devotion service by praying to the Supreme Lord, by trying whatever best I can try to purify my heart and to actually not expect all this. And it is very painful for a conditioned heart to do service without expectation. Just imagine you did a big service. Naturally, then the expectation comes that people should appreciate me, people should thank me, they should recognize me, they should understand who has done all this. I just imagine that no one does all this to you. How much painful it becomes to a conditioned heart कि क्या है. Sometimes devotees जैसे मैंने तो इतना मेहनत किया, भक्त लोग जो हैं कुछ appreciate भी नहीं कर रहे हैं, आगे से मैं कोई सेवा नहीं करूँगा. Like that. So actually in our case, our devotion service many times is fueled by many other expectations also. But pure devotion service means there is only one fuel, that is, I want to do it for pleasure of the Supreme. So it will start with pleasure for devotees, then it will eventually become pleasure for the Supreme Lord. Like that. So we should strive for this sincere devotional service. Otherwise we will be so bottle devotee. एक भक्तिनाथ ठाकुर जी का सॉन्ग है कि माथेरा तिलक गलीरे कंठी, ऐसा करके एक सॉन्ग है. हाथ में बीड़ बैग है, माथे में तिलक है, गले में कंठी है, लेकिन माया रचेला. लेकिन चेला किसका है? माया का है. धोती कुर्ता पहना है, तिलक है, कंठी है, सब कुछ है, लेकिन वो माया का स्पाई एजेंट है जो डिवोटी के वेश में डिवोटियों के संग में रहता है. माया का चेला है. लाइक दैट. So we should not fool ourselves, and we should not try to fool anyone else by trying not to be devotees of the Lord, by not trying to be genuine devotees of the Lord. Very beautiful verse here this Prahlad Maharaj is saying. So here it is mentioned, so one is not very careful, then he may sprinkle water on the creeper, and then what happens is main Bhakti Lata is curtailed. So what are the thing that was mentioned in the previous verse? Nisiddhachar, Putinati, Jivhimsa, and Lav Puja, Pratishtha Adi, Yat Upshakha Pranah. So unwanted creepers have been described by Srila Bhakti Sanskrit Thakur. He states, if one hears and chants without trying to give up offenses, one becomes materially attached to sanctification. See how amazing Srila Bhakti Sanskrit Thakur is saying. Actually, Srila Bhakti Sanskrit Thakur is very straightforward and very strong. And here you see very clearly is saying that if somebody is hearing and chanting but not trying to give up offenses, then he becomes attached to sense gratification. One may also desire freedom from material bondage like the Mayavadis, or one may become attached to the Yog Siddhis and desire wonderful yogic power. So either he becomes attached to material sense gratification, or he wants relief, no anxiety, he wants relief, basically aspiration for moksha, or he wants some skills, some influence, some power like Siddhi or Yogi. One may also be victimized by diplomatic or crooked behavior, So one may nisiddhachar. When a devotee is practicing devotional service but is not trying to protect himself from offenses and is not trying to purify his heart, then he becomes diplomatic or crooked. He knows, किससे क्या बात करना है, किससे क्या सेटिंग करना है, किससे क्या परमिशन मिलेगा, किससे क्या, काम निकल जाएगा. So they don't become genuine devotees. They have their material aspirations, and to fulfill those material aspirations, they develop this crooked behavior. कई बार आप लोगों ने न्यूज सुना होगा ना कि कई जगह कोई डिवोटी रहता है, वो कुक के रूप में कहीं चला जाता है, वहां चोरी करके दूसरी जगह चला जाता है. ऐसे बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं. समटाइम मन में फील अरे कोई सोला माला कर रहा है, चोरी कैसे कर सकता है, कोई सोला माला कर रहा है, ऐसे गलत कार्य कैसे कर सकता है. But because they are not genuinely trying to purify themselves, not genuinely trying to free from offenses, so they become attached. Sometimes you may feel, how can somebody like Indra, who is a devotee, can be so attached to power post position? He can, because they are not trying to purify their heart. You see, Indra तो उनका सभा चलता रहता है, उसी इत्यादि डांस करते रहते हैं. He is not trying to purify his heart. He is not trying to free himself from offenses, and that's why they become extremely attached to material gratification. One may make a show of devotion service like the Prakat Sahajiya, or one may try to support his philosophy by joining some caste or identifying himself with a certain dynasty. So diplomatic behavior, or one may associate with women for illicit sex. Recently in Delhi, one saffron, there was one organization whose main head was their saffron, and he was found having multiple illicit connections with multiple women. And you see, that is the reason people have lost faith in spiritual life and on sadhu. When they see such a low and dirty character of sadhus, then they feel if they can go down to such an extent, then not being a devotee, we are more better situated. Same way we see about Asam Babu. With young girls, he had illicit connection, and he was so old. Is it not? So sometimes it may confuse us that how can such a spiritualist, even at such advanced age, having such illicit affairs or connection? Because they become extremely attached to sense gratification. Because those weeds they have grown. Because process is powerful. Saranam and Kirtanam process is powerful. But instead of the Bhakti Lata now, it is growing their material attachment. Like that. Or they may want to show themselves as very advanced, like that. You'll find genuine devotees means they'll be very humble. They'll never try to show themselves as very advanced. But these devotees, they will artificially try to, show themselves as very advanced. They will speak in certain way, they will talk in certain way, they will dress in certain way to show themselves that we are very advanced. There are some sadhus, they clearly tell, 1000 लोग आना चाहिए हमारे प्रोग्राम में तभी आएंगे, वरना नहीं देंगे हम प्रोग्राम, क्योंकि उनका इमेज कम हो जाएगा। और वो ना पूरा प्रेस करके एकदम बढ़िया कपड़ा पहनेंगे और फेशियल क्रीम वगैरह लगा के पूरा शाइनिंग, तो उनका जो तेज है वो ब्रह्म तेज नहीं है, उनका जो है फेयर एंड लवली का तेज है, या जो भी आता होगा क्रीम इत्यादि, वो तेज। So they want to show themselves as very advanced so that people understand who are they. तो यहाँ क्या बताया गया है, one may become attached to 4 sinful activities also. This all may be surprising for us, but actually it happens if somebody is not trying to purify his heart and not trying to become free from offenses. That is the reason when Srila Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj departed, and everyone was trying to take his body. For what purpose they were trying to take his body? Not for the purpose that, out of gratitude they want to give a samadhi. They were trying to take his body because they knew that wherever a samadhi is being put, many people will come and they will give donation and our ashram or matha will become famous. Can you imagine having such a dirty consciousness even at a time where, such a great soul has departed? And then we see that how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur came forward and he said, anyone who has not touched a woman from last 1 year, he can come forward. And who were they? They were Babajis who have renounced everything. Babajis means they become materially and spiritually inactive, and they become bhajananandis, 24 hours chanting, reading, hearing. So they were Babajis who were chanting 64 rounds, 108 rounds, 128 rounds. And not a single person came forward. He told anyone who has not touched in last 1 year, he told. Can you imagine? Then he said last 1 month. Then he said last week. Then he said last night. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? मतलब इतना ज्यादा इलिसिट एक्टिविटीज कोई करता है और वो पूरा दिन माला लेके बैठा है, जप कर रहा है, मतलब कैसा वो रहेगा? करेक्ट ना? एंड हाउ मच दे आर डिस्प्लीजिंग द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड। कोई सोचिए, अगर आप गवर्नमेंट में चीफ मिनिस्टर हो सपोज, और कोई पुलिस है, और आप देखते हो ये पुलिस वाला ही एक्सप्लॉइट कर रहा है, धोखा दे रहा है, आपको कितना क्रोध आएगा? आएगा ना? क्योंकि अरे आप कैसे कर सकते हो? You are supposed to help society and you are doing, so as a chief minister you will feel more angry to the person who is a police person. Same way, if you see from the eyes of the Lord, there is a non-devotee doing sin and there is a devotee doing all this. Krishna will feel much more unhappy from a devotee. अरे नालायक, तुम धोती कुर्ता पहन के तिलक लगा के जो है इलिसिट एक्टिविटी कर रहे हो। और कई बार डिवोटीज का ऐसा रहता है, नहीं एक बार जो चैंटिंग कर लेता है, नेहा विक्रमणस्ति प्रत्यवायन विद्यते स्वल्पस्य धर्मस्य त्रायतो महतो भयात्, वो तो कम से कम ह्यूमन फॉर्म मिलेगा ही। ऐसा नहीं है। आप ऐसा सोच के ये सब काम करते हैं तो ये सब नाम अपराध में आता है। इट इज मेंशन्ड, राधेश्याम was quoting that if some brahmachari is engaged in illicit activity, he becomes a dog in next life. Although he may have been a brahmachari, he may have been practicing spiritual life for whole life, but if he engages in illicit activity with women, he becomes a dog. Krishna will punish like anything to such people. But somehow, because of these anarthas, they totally justify their wrong acts by the support of philosophy. And this all happens if somebody is not genuinely trying to two things. Generally trying to purify his heart of anarthas, genuinely trying to avoid the anarthas. And so they develop all these ideas. One may try to carry professional business by the means of chanting Hare Krishna or reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Like in ISKCON also, when Indra Prabhu was there, he never took money for kirtan. And what is the sign that he was doing kirtan for pleasure of the Supreme Lord? Because he would do 24 hours. He would not come in the peak hours in the evening time, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. and then on YouTube, having camera and having all the audience he's doing. He would do kirtan in the night also when no one is watching and no one is seeing. And those days there were no YouTube also. Whole night he would do. That is a sign he is doing for pleasure of the Lord. But nowadays you see people, and Andhra Prabhu, whom he trained, he told also, you should never take money for kirtan. Even as Grastas also, you may be a Grasta Kirtaniya, but you cannot take money for Kirtan. You can sing, and then people on their own, if they want to donate, then they can donate. But you cannot say that if you are calling me for Kirtan program, then you have to give 5 lakh rupees. You cannot charge people. You can do Kirtan and you can say that whatever donation all of you want to give, you can give. That people can give, but you cannot charge. But unfortunately, now we see there are many Kirtan group and they professionally charge also. Same way for Bhagavatam also. Prabhupada very heavily was against taking money for Srimad Bhagavatam Katha, like that. Using all these things for professional purposes or for personal purposes or for selfish purposes is very hazardous to our spiritual growth, like that. Or one may try to increase his monetary strength by illegal means, you know. Even on the path of spiritual life, we cannot use adharmic way and means, illegal way and means to get money. There is one pastime, once what happened, there was one disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. So, उस time पे, he cultivated some big person who was some big government official. So he went to him for asking donation. So he said, see, I can't give donation, but I can help if you want some help in some way. Then he said, okay, then you give your car, I can use your car for going. तो उनकी कार में लिखा हुआ था गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया और जो भी उनका पोस्ट पोजीशन था. तो ये भक्तिनाथ जी ठाकुर के जो शिष्य हैं वो क्या कि ये कार ले जाके मार्केट में चले गए और दुकान पे जाके बोला कि देखो मैं किससे कनेक्टेड हूँ, देखो ये कार किसका है और आप जो है मुझे ये सब सामान दे दो, वरना जो है आपका दुकान बंद हो जाएगा. तो ऐसा बोल के उन्होंने बहुत सारा फ्री में विंटर के क्लोथ्स और कपड़े और ग्रोसरी पता नहीं क्या क्या कार में पूरा भर के आश्रम में लेके आ गए और आश्रम में ब्रह्मचारी को बांट दिया. किसी को धोती बांट दिया, किसी को कोई स्वेटर बांट दिया, किसी को कुछ कैप बांट दिया था. और बड़ा खुश हो गए कि देखो मैंने कितना बड़ा सेवा कर दिया. तो ये न्यूज जो है भक्तिनाथ जी ठाकुर के पास में गया. भक्तिनाथ जी ठाकुर उनको बुलाए तो उन्होंने बोला आपने ऐसा क्यों किया. ही सेड महाराज मैं अपने लिए नहीं किया, मैं तो भक्तों के लिए किया, भक्तों की सेवा के लिए किया. देन महाराज सेड वट एवर यू डिड is very displeasing to the Supreme Lord. So you are thinking that by this you are pleasing the devotee, but actually you are doing a great disservice. You are creating a culture that tomorrow devotees also will use these kind of ways and means to get things from the people. He said, we are not beggars. We depend on the Supreme Lord, and if there is a need, Supreme Lord will provide. Why we have to take to such way and means? We have to be very careful. We cannot justify Krishna conscious philosophy for doing something which is not mentioned in the scriptures. Because the scriptures, they are the words of the God. Krishna wants us to live life in that way. And accordingly, we have to proceed. Also, so about Sarvanam, we were discussing that how one can use Sarvanam or how can Sarvanam can become a way to water the creeper. Same way, Kirtanam also can become a way to water the creeper. How? One may try to show himself a great Vaishnava by trying to chant more rounds in a secluded place. During Prabhupada time, some devotees expressed, Swamiji, I want to chant 64. Prabhupada said, no, not required. You be here and be actively serve. But then still they went to Radha Kund to chant 64 rounds so that people can understand how great Vaishnava they are. And then they could not continue. And such people, they talk also like this. See, the moment somebody is advancing, one of the prime symptoms is humility. He will start thinking that I am more fallen than others. But these guys, when they start chanting 64 or so, the first feeling which comes in their heart is that I am better than others. All are fallen and I am very special. then how come they are making advancement? They are just watering the creepers. I remember once I had taken one group to Govardhan Parikrama, devotees. When we were going, we came out of Radhakund and then we were doing Parikrama. There one big flex was put. इसी जन्म में भगवान के धाम चाहिए, और फिर कोई स्वामी का नाम लिखा हुआ था. तो सब जो मेरे साथ स्टूडेंट्स गए थे उनका नजर पड़ा. उन्होंने बोला प्रभु जी इसी जन्म में भगवान के धाम, ये देखिए कोई सेमिनार है. मैंने उनको बोला प्रभुपाद जी भी तो इसी जन्म में भेज रहे हैं, आपको इनके साथ में क्यों जाना है इस जन्म में? People they make such kind of this thing, and if you talk to such people, then they will say ISKCON में तो क्या है, कुछ है ही नहीं, भक्ति है ही नहीं, ISKCON तो कमर्शियल है, ISKCOन तो ये है, ISKCOन तो वो है, ऐसा. और उनसे पूछिए ठीक है भैया आप भक्ति, आपके अनुसार भक्ति क्या? भक्ति मतलब जप करना, भक्ति मतलब तो साधना करना, बस यही करना है. तो महापुरुष फिर ऐसा क्यों बोले, प्रथित आचरण नगरदि ग्राम सर्वत्र प्रचार हुए मोरो नाम? वो कौन करेगा? आप तो सिर्फ भजन ही करोगे, वो कौन करेगा? करेक्ट. Means artificially they concoct their way and means to be advanced devotee. Without surrendering to the spiritual master, without doing the way he wants for his pleasure, we cannot purify our heart and we cannot become genuinely chanters of the holy name. We cannot cry out and helplessly chant the holy names of the Lord. So they may try to chant more to have this mundane reputation, or to feel themselves being advanced devotee. So one has to be very careful. Actually, these anarthas are very deep rooted. I was so I remember. I think it will take time. Already 8 o'clock. Okay, this is about to be over. All these are pitfalls of personal sense gratification, just to cheat some innocent people. One makes a show of advanced spiritual life and becomes known as a sadhu, mahatma, or religious person. All this means that so-called devotee has become victimized by these unwanted creepers. I'll share one example from my life. What had happened was that I was very inspired when I was in Pune to do Nirjal Ekadasi. When I came to Kanpur, so around 2 years, I was doing this Nirjal Ekadasi, and I was trying to chant more. So I saw a feeling in my heart during Ekadasi day, those devotees who with plate would go down to eat prasadam. So I would get a feeling that अरे क्या ये लोग एकादशी के दिन भी कुछ कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाते हैं, like that. So I felt अरे ऐसा कैसे है, क्या ये भक्ति में एडवांस करेंगे, like that. So then I shared with Premanam Prabhuji, I am getting this kind of thoughts. Then he said me, you stop doing Nirjal Ekadasi. So initially I felt अरे ऐसा कैसे है, निर्जल एकादशी तो करना अच्छा होता है और ये तो मना ही कर रहे हैं ऐसा करके. Then I started thinking, I was reflecting back. तो देखो कि आप हमारे माइंड का नेचर कैसा है. एक तो है कि आप निर्जल एकादशी करो, उससे माइंड जो है आपको ऐसा फीलिंग देगा कि आप बहुत अच्छा करते हो. दूसरा है कि आप निर्जल एकादशी मत करो, आप बस थोड़ा सा भक्तों के साथ में, जो प्रसादम हॉल में सब भक्त बैठे हैं वहां पर बस थोड़ा सा खाओ, ज्यादा मत खाओ, थोड़ा ही सा खाओ. फिर आपका माइंड पता है क्या बोलेगा, अब खाना है तो पूरा ही खा लो ना. Actually, see, he does not want purification. Either he want to show off or he want to become attached to sense gratification. उसको अपना खाना चाहिए माइंड. क्योंकि मैं वही सोच रहा था कि ठीक है निर्जल एकादशी नहीं करेंगे, थोड़ा सा भक्तों के साथ में खा लेंगे. उससे क्या है, आपका वो क्रेडिट चला जाएगा कि प्रभु जी जो है निर्जल एकादशी करते हैं. और वो क्रेडिट बचाने के लिए फॉल्स ईगो की इंस्पिरेशन में आप कर सकते हो. लेकिन असली में अगर आपको असली में करना है ह्यूमिलिटी के साथ, तो थोड़ा सा खाओ. जैसे निर्जल एकादशी भी कोई बोलेगा नहीं भक्त, और जो है आप ज्यादा खाए भी नहीं हो, भगवान भी खुश रहेंगे. आप देखोगे आप थोड़ा खा के रह नहीं पाओ, आप पूरा खाओगे. क्योंकि एक्चुअली में हार्ट प्योरीफाई हुआ नहीं है, भजन अधिकार अभी है नहीं वैसा. इट टेक्स टाइम टू हैव दैट भजन अधिकार. So it is very subtle actually the way mind feels. We have to know that nothing external will please the Supreme Lord. And bhakti means pleasing the Supreme Lord. And we have to see, we use this process of devotional service to water the Bhakti Lata bees, not to water anything else. Sorry, I took more time. We land here. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so this our engineer who has written some question. If someone does some devotional activity or service with a desire to impress Guru, not other devotees or public, that also fall under category of weeds, right? Because main thing devotional service is to please. Like I will do this and send beautiful elaborate report to Guru counselor, and then they will be happy or impressed with me. So you are true. This also is not pure devotional service. आपने कुछ डिवोटीज का देखा होगा, वो कुछ भी सेवा करेंगे उसका रिपोर्ट बनाएंगे और बहुत भक्तों को भेजते हैं, हमने ये किया, हमने ये किया, हमने ये किया। तो ऐसे तो उतना सही नहीं है, आइडियल नहीं है, लेकिन हमारे लेवल पे वो हमको करना चाहिए। क्योंकि देखो पहला स्टेप क्या है कि गुरु के लिए कुछ करें, फिर दूसरा स्टेप है जो हम कर रहे हैं वो सही तरीके से करें, सही एटीट्यूड के साथ करें। तो कुछ डिवोटीज के लिए स्टार्टिंग में उनका इंस्पिरेशन क्या है कि हम गुरु को रिपोर्ट कर पा रहे हैं, गुरु को बता रहे हैं, तो वो करना चाहिए। धीरे धीरे करके जो उसके अंदर नेगेटिव एटीट्यूड है उसको हटाना है। रिपोर्ट भेजना गलत नहीं है, लेकिन रिपोर्ट इस धारणा से भेजना कि गुरु इंप्रेस हो जाएंगे, वो गलत है। तो शुरू में हमें पहले कुछ करना चाहिए, रिपोर्ट भेजना चाहिए, भले ये नेगेटिव धारणा क्यों ना हो, और फिर धीरे धीरे करके भक्ति के प्रयास से, अच्छा जेन्युइन भक्ति करके, चीजों को समझ के हमें ये नेगेटिव एटीट्यूड को हटाना चाहिए। रिपोर्ट भेजना गलत नहीं है, रिपोर्ट तो भेजते रहना चाहिए। So like that we have to, in stages we have to go ahead. Is it okay, Indranil too?
यस गुरुजी। बट लेकिन जैसे कोई फॉर एग्जांपल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कर रहा है तो वो नंबर उसका आ जाता है। इफ समवन हैज डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सपोज 49 बुक्स देन आई विल समहाउ डू 50 so that I can write in report 50। तो एक तो ये थॉट है, और दूसरा है नहीं नहीं और सेकंड थॉट, तो सेकंड एटीट्यूड इज मोर करेक्ट रादर देन।
हाँ राइट। तो इसमें क्या है इंद्रनील प्रभु, स्टार्टिंग में अभी हमारे स्टेज पे बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करने के लिए वो कंटेमिनेशन रहेगा, और अगर उस कंटेमिनेशन के साथ भी हम पहले बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कर रहे हैं, रिपोर्ट भेज रहे हैं, तो वो ठीक है। उसके बाद हमें धीरे धीरे करके उस अनाथा से बाहर आना है। बहुत सारे डिवोटीज के लिए अगर वो नंबर का इंस्पिरेशन नहीं रहेगा तो बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ही नहीं करेंगे, बोलेंगे फिर क्यों करना है, सब तो ठीक है, जितना भगवान चाहेंगे उतना बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो जाएगा। आया समझ में ना आपको? तो हम जैसे बद्ध जीवों के लिए पहले उसी इंस्पिरेशन के कारण ही एटलीस्ट हम एक्सटेंड तो कर रहे हैं, एटलीस्ट हम अपना बेस्ट तो ट्राई कर रहे हैं। लेकिन साथ साथ में जब हम भक्ति करेंगे, साथ में किसी के अधीन रहकर ये सेवाएं करेंगे, तो धीरे धीरे करके फिर प्योरिफिकेशन भी होगा। जितने भी ग्रेटफुल है, जैसे नवीन नीरद प्रभु जो प्रभुपा जी के शिष्य हैं, मतलब काफी सीनियर डिवोटी हैं, वो भी बताते हैं जब हमारे टाइम पे हम बुक कर रहे थे तो कई बार मेरे मन में ये भाव रहता था, और मैं देखता था अगर किसी माता जी का मुझसे ज्यादा स्कोर आ गया या किसी और का ज्यादा स्कोर आ गया तो मैं रात में 11-11 बजे तक बुक शूट करता था जिससे कि मेरा नंबर 1 पे आ जाए। तो ये भाव सही नहीं है। लेकिन स्टार्टिंग में हो सकता है कि डिवोटीज के अंदर ये भाव हो, जो गलत नहीं है क्योंकि हम कंडीशन है। तो पहले जो बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हम जो कर रहे हैं उसको कम नहीं करना है, उसको हमें अच्छी तरीके से करना है। जो भी हम सेवा कर रहे हैं वो अच्छी तरीके से करना है, उसके साथ में हमको भाव को प्योरीफाई करना है। तो धीरे धीरे करके अपना भाव प्योरीफाई करो। ठीक है अनिल को?
यस
यस
थैंक
यस पवन को।
हाँ, हरे कृष्ण गुरु जी आपने जो एग्जांपल दिया था कि भक्ति ठाकुर के डिसाइपल्स ने भक्तों की प्रसन्नता के लिए ही वो चीजें लाई थी, तो ये तो थोड़ा एक्सट्रीम था कि वो इतना एक्सट्रीम पे चले गए। लेकिन जैसे हमारे केसेस में भी हमने ऐसा सुना है कि जैसे भक्त लोग होते हैं, चूंकि उनको गुरु का आदेश है कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स बनाने का, उनके मंदिर को कुछ डेवलप करने का, तो वो भी कहीं जाते हैं भागवतम क्लास के लिए, तो कोई कोई लक्ष्मी पूछते हैं। तो क्या ये भी ठीक नहीं है? क्योंकि उनके गुरु का तो आदेश ही है कि आपको ये बनाना है, तो उनके पास उसको
हाँ तो
फुलफिल करने की यही सोर्स है।
नहीं तो आप डोनेशन मांग सकते हो, जैसे भागवतम क्लास आपने किया, उसके बाद बोल सकते हैं ये मंदिर आ रहा है, ये प्रोजेक्ट आ रहा है, हमको सहयोग की जरूरत है, आप जो है आके यहाँ पर सहयोग कीजिए, इंस्पायर कर सकते हैं, वो गलत नहीं है, वो सही है।
और लेकिन कोई ऐसे पहले से चार्जेस फी मतलब फीस रखें तो?
वो गलत है, वही प्रभुपाद जी कंडेम किए हैं। अगर जैसे कोई बोल रहा है कि हम 15 लाख रुपए आप हमको दीजिए तब हम करेंगे, हमारा ये चार्ज है, हमारी जगह 15 लाख नहीं करते हैं, तो ये गलत है, ये प्रभुपाद जी बहुत कंडेम किए हैं इसको।
तो ये हमारे बीच में गलत है मुझे, लेकिन अगर बाहर जाना हो, बाहर प्रोग्राम करना हो,
बाहर
जैसे
कहाँ
हमारे
प्रोग्राम करना हो?
मतलब जैसे हमारे ड्यूटीज कई बार मोटिवेशनल टॉक्स देते हैं ना,
देखो क्या
मोटिवेशनल
है,
टॉक्स देते हैं।
हाँ जैसे गौर गोपाल टू का है जो आप मोस्टली उनको इंडिकेट कर रहे हैं, तो उनका सिचुएशन थोड़ा अलग है, क्योंकि उनको हिज होलीनेस राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज ने, उनके गुरु ने वो उनको परमिशन दिया है, और वो जो है चार्ज करते हैं और उस लक्ष्मी को यूज करते हैं जीवी में। तो एज सच इन जनरल ये अलाउड नहीं है, और मना किया गया है शास्त्रों में काफी जगह पर। लेकिन कुछ पर्टिकुलर केस है और उनके पर्टिकुलर स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर उनको अलाउ कर रहे हैं, और उनके स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर जिम्मेदारी ले रहे हैं, तो फिर ही कैन डू, बट इट्स नॉट अ जनरल प्रैक्टिस। अंडरस्टूड?
यस मतलब मैं गौरव पाल जी ने और भी ड्यूटीज की पूछा था, और भी हमने ऐसा सुना था इसलिए पूछा था।
और तो कोई नहीं करता मोटिवेशन के लिए पैसा,
नहीं
लोगों को।
मोटिवेशन के लिए नहीं, जैसे मतलब कहीं जाए तो उसके लिए फिक्स फीस पूछ रखना।
नहीं नहीं, और कोई नहीं करता है, जैसे इस्कॉन में लाल गोविंदपू करते थे, तो उनको इस्कॉन से मना कर दिया था कि आप फिर इस्कॉन में मत कीजिएगा था, इस्कॉन से बाहर रह के कीजिए। बाकी जो भी चार्ज करता है इस्कॉन में काफी स्ट्रिक्ट है उसको लेके।
मुझे एक चीज और पूछना था कि
हम्म।
जैसे आपने बताया कि अपना एग्जांपल देखे कि आपने निर्जल एकादशी ऐसा किया, तो थोड़ा खाने में थोड़ा ना वो हम दिखा पा रहे हैं और ना भोग कर पा रहे हैं, तो डिफिकल्ट हो गया। और आपने
हम्म।
बताया कैसे भक्ति लता के लिए बहुत वो केयरफुल रहना चाहिए कि लोग तो हमको हवा में चढ़ा देंगे, लेकिन
हम्म।
हमको देखना है कि भगवान के प्रति प्रेम है कि नहीं। तो जैसे एक
हम्म।
मैं से जस्ट विचार था कि हमारे पास तो बहुत सारे हमारे मेमोरी में होते ही हैं हमारे मिसडीड्स,
हम्म।
जो कि हमने बहुत सारे गलत कार्य किए हैं, जो कि हम
हम्म।
अपने काउंसलर्स को या सीनियर ड्यूटीज को बताते हैं, लेकिन सबको नहीं बताते हैं। तो
हम्म।
जब कोई हमको ऐसे बहुत अप्रिशिएट करे बहुत ज्यादा,
हम्म।
तो क्या हमें वो सब शेयर करना चाहिए क्या उन्हें? क्योंकि अगर उनको शेयर करेंगे तो कभी हमको उतना अप्रिशिएट नहीं करने वाले हैं कोई, हम जो भी मिसडीड्स
नहीं
इतना करते
नहीं,
रहते हैं।
हाँ जो भी हमारा मिसडीड्स वगैरह है वो सबसे शेयर नहीं करना चाहिए। वो बहुत जो क्लोज आपके सीनियर्स हैं उन्हीं के साथ शेयर करना चाहिए। और बाकी अपना इंटरनलाइज कीजिए, कोई आपको अप्रिशिएट कर रहा है तो उस अप्रिसिएशन को गुरु और कृष्ण को भेजिए, उनको उनके प्रति आप उनका ग्रेटिट्यूड रखिए।
नहीं मुझे अगर ऐसा हम शेयर करेंगे तो कोई हमको ज्यादा फिर अप्रिशिएट नहीं करेगा ना। जो अप्रिशिएट करते हैं प्रभु आप क्या हैं, तो उनको अगर ये पता चल जाएगा प्रभु आप ये भी हैं, तो फिर कौन ही अप्रिशिएट करेगा? तो फिर उससे तो बचे ही रहेंगे प्राइड से।
हाँ
अब
वो है,
एक्सटर्नल अप्रिशिएशन।
हाँ लेकिन वो ठीक नहीं है अभी तो। वो क्या है, आप ज्यादा डिप्रेशन में चले जाएंगे, थोड़ा अप्रिसिएशन भी चाहिए। और वो ठीक नहीं है, इस तरीके से आप हर किसी को सब कुछ बताना, वो भी ठीक नहीं है। अंडरस्टूड?
यस।
हाँ अब देखो क्या है, आप हर चीज सब चीज को बता दोगे तो क्या है, हर व्यक्ति उस चीज को उस भावना से नहीं ले पाएगा जिस भावना से आप भी सोच रहे हो, क्योंकि उनका भी एक पर्सनालिटी टाइप है, तो आपको और फ्रस्ट्रेशन होगा। तो जो शास्त्र में बताया है उसके ही अनुसार हमें अपना जीवन जीना चाहिए। तो क्लियर है कि आप अपना हार्ट उन्हीं से शेयर कीजिए जो आपसे पहला क्लोज हैं, और दूसरा जिनको आप ट्रस्ट कर सकते हो कि वो आपकी बात को गुप्त रखेंगे, उन्हीं को आप शेयर कर सकते हो, हर किसी को शेयर नहीं कर सकते हो। आया ठीक?
यस
यस।
थैंक यू प्रभु।
यस विशाल को।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। तो ये, जैसे आपने काफी सारा बताया कि कोई डिवोटी अगर मान लो रेगुलेटरी प्रिंसिपल तोड़ रहा है, या कोई वो ब्रह्मचारी वो भी सेट कर रहा है, तो फिर वो डिवोट एक तरीके से फिर वो हेलिस मतलब अगली लाइफ में लोअर कैटेगरी में जाएगा। तो प्रभु जी मैं कह रहा हूँ कि मतलब उनको डिवोटी क्यों कह रहे हैं हम, अगर वो ये चीजें फॉलो कर ही नहीं रहे हैं, तो हम उनको डिवोटी कैसे कहते हैं? वो
हाँ
जैसे
मतलब
जानना
इस
चाह रहा
देखो इसमें क्या है ना, हम जब इसमें हम क्या है मेन, हम लोग ना बाहर से जज नहीं कर सकते कुछ भी। जैसे मानो एक डिवोटी है, उसने सपोज 15 साल पहले कुछ गलत कार्य किया, अब उसके बाद में उसको बहुत रिपेंट हुआ और उसके बाद में उसने सीख लिया और वो कार्य छोड़ के अच्छा भक्ति करने लग गया। अब अगर मैं उसको जज करूं जो उसने 15 साल पहले घृणित कार्य किया, तो मेरे लिए वैष्णव अपराध हो जाएगा। आपको आया समझ ना? तो हम तो किसी को जज नहीं कर सकते ना। अभी अजामिला है, वो डिवोटी है कि नॉन डिवोटी, आप बताओ।
हाँ प्रभु जी, समझ गए।
करेक्ट ना? अभी वो
अजामिल।
उसने तो कुछ छोड़ा ही नहीं, सब कुछ कर लिया। अब लास्ट मोमेंट में वैष्णुदूत आ गए, सब छोड़ के माला पकड़ लिया, एकदम महाभागवत हो गया। भक्ति में जज नहीं कर सकते किसी को, कौन कब किसका हार्ट चेंज हो जाए कुछ नहीं पता। ये सब जो भी हम अपने लिए है। अगर कोई डिवोटी कुछ गलत कार्य किया भी है तो उसके सुपीरियर्स के बीच में हम जज नहीं कर सकते। तो क्या पता उसको हैवी रिपेंटेंस हुआ है, उसके बाद में वो टर्निंग पॉइंट हो गया उसकी लाइफ में और वहां से वो काफी अच्छा वैष्णव बन गया। इसलिए फिर कई जगह लोग क्या है, कोई वैष्णव है उसने कुछ पुराने कुछ किया है उसी को ही बोलते रहते हैं, वो गलत है। शास्त्र में मना किया, पीछे चारों वर्ष क्यों है भगवत गीता में। कोई डिवोटी से कुछ गलत हो भी गया है, वो उसके और उसके सीनियर के बीच में है, और ये जो आकलन है ये हम किसी और को जज नहीं कर सकते, हम खुद को जज करना है। ऐसा शरणम मतलब हम अपने लिए कर रहे हैं, बाकी कौन क्या है उनको सबको बस अप्रिशिएट करो जो भी है, क्योंकि हम कुछ कह नहीं सकते। भक्ति बहुत पर्सनल है, भक्ति बहुत डायनेमिक है, और भक्ति बहुत गुई है, कॉन्फिडेंशियल है। नो वन नोज हु इज हु व्हाट ही कल्टीवेटिंग इन हार्ट। रामदास विप्रा तो पूरा दिन रात जप करते थे, भगवान की सेवा करते थे, भक्तों की सेवा करते थे। रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी हु इज वन ऑफ आचार्य, ही बिकेम इम्प्रेस्ड, कैन यू इमेजिन, ही बिकेम इम्प्रेस्ड कि क्या भक्त है ये। लेकिन महाप्रभु उनको बोले कि अरे ये दिखावा करता है। तो रघुनाथ गोस्वामी को विश्वास नहीं हुआ, महाप्रभु ये ऐसा कैसा दिखावा करेगा, दिन रात राम राम करता है, वैष्णव सेवा करता है, कुछ भी इधर उधर का नहीं खाता है। महाप्रभु बोले जाके पूछो राम राम क्यों करता है। तो गए, पूछा एक बात बताओ प्रभु, आप पूरा दिन रात राम राम क्यों करते हो? तो उन्होंने बोला क्योंकि मैं राम बन जाऊंगा। तो उनको समझाया कि हे धन्य हो प्रभु। ऐसा बहुत मुश्किल एक्चुअली। वी शुड नेवर जज एनीवन, वी शुड नेवर क्रिटिसाइज एनीवन, and that is very offensive. We have to find a reason to appreciate others, but this all discussion is for our introspection. ठीक है?
यस प्रभु जी,
Okay.
थैंक यू।
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much all devotees for taking out time and coming. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.